Now on the CTV News at 5, a former Blood Tribe police chief pleads guilty to assault. Plus, Lethbridge's first 24-hour daycare is set to open its doors this fall.
I work in healthcare, and trying to find childcare that starts before 7 is so hard.
Which is welcome news for parents on shift work. And Cypress County declares an agricultural state of emergency.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. Former Blood Tribe Police Chief Bryce Ironshirt has pleaded guilty to assault. This comes after a former Blood Tribe constable accused Ironshirt of inappropriately touching her. Quinn Keenan has more.
Bryce Ironshirt served as chief of the Blood Tribe Police Service for just 9 months before abruptly resigning in September 2022. That came a month after a female constable filed a complaint with the police commission about him making unwanted sexual advances months earlier. The commission did nothing about her concerns, but prosecutors in Quebec did. Ironshirt was charged with sexual assault in 2023 for an incident that occurred during the Aboriginal Police Chiefs Conference in Gatineau, Quebec in May 2022. This spring, he quietly pled guilty to a reduced charge of assault, and he was given an absolute discharge. According to an agreed statement of facts, during a night out with colleagues, Ironshirt made several unwanted physical advances towards the female officer. He also touched her without her consent when they were alone. The Quebec court ordered him to serve 20 hours of community service and make a $2,000 donation to the Native Women's Association of Canada. One expert questions the sentence.
It'd be interesting to ask the Crown prosecutor why the Crown agreed to that. That's a sexual assault. And the accused admitted to it in the agreed statement of fact.
But in a statement to CTV News, Ironshirt says, "I am relieved that this matter has been resolved without criminal record, which will allow me to move forward with my life." In her impact statement to the court, the victim said, "You were gifted the trust of your people. You were entrusted with sacred teachings, with institutional power, and with the hope of change, and you betrayed it all." She has also filed a human rights complaint against Ironshirt, police, the commission, and the First Nation. But Tom Ankle says how the complaint was handled shows a lack of transparency.
One of the main roles of a police commission is in relation to disciplinary matters, supervision of the chief. And it's oftentimes there are complaints that police commissions are too cozy with the chief.
He also wonders whether there's enough oversight for the police commission. In a statement, the police commission says the service has reviewed and enhanced its training procedures, but it didn't provide examples of what has changed. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
In a statement, Blood Tribe Chief of Police Grant Buckskin says the service is committed to providing a safe, healthy, and productive environment to all of its staff. Conduct that is offensive, intimidates, or physically harms others, they are not tolerated. A Lethbridge man sentenced to more than a decade behind bars for drugging and sexually assaulting 3 women has been denied an appeal. 3 Court of Appeal judges ruled that 39-year-old Sohail Bindra's case did not meet the threshold required for appeals. And Lethbridge police are looking for a man facing charges in connection to an armed robbery. 62-year-old Robert James Spear from Lethbridge is charged with robbery and possession of a weapon dangerous to the public. The charges stem from an armed robbery at the Ace Liquor Store on Blue Fox Boulevard North at the end of June. If you have seen Spear or know where he is, you're asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Several Alberta casinos, including Pure Casino in Lethbridge, are offering liquor service in casinos 24 hours a day. It's part of a new pilot program at 13 casinos across the province. Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis says the trial run began July the 1st and will run for 6 months. The agency says the project is aimed at matching liquor service with slot machine hours. Casinos must follow a number of conditions, including ensuring patron safety and limiting liquor service only to gaming activity areas. Pure Casinos tells CTV News that AGLC presented the program to them as an opportunity for its casinos, and it has been an easy transition so far, but Mothers Against Drunk Driving has some concerns.
The research literature is quite clear that when you increase alcohol availability, the alcohol-related harms also increase. So you got to make sure that steps are taken to help mitigate those harms. Staff need to be trained. They need to not overserve patrons, and there needs to be an emphasis that if they believe that someone is going to be driving, that they call 911.
After the pilot project, the province will evaluate results and reports from casinos before making long-term changes. Gina Martin, it is looking like it could be a bit of a wet weekend ahead.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Lethbridge and just really the extreme south, models are very conflicted and contradicting each other about exactly how much rain we're going to see in this area and when. But we certainly are seeing that influence of that low pressure system across the U.S. border there over the last couple hours here. So Lethbridge could see a chance of showers throughout the evening here and thunderstorms as well. Probably wouldn't recommend barbecuing outside tonight unless you got a good cover over you. As we look ahead to tomorrow, should see a bit more sunshine out there, dropping down to 8 tonight, maybe a chance of some nocturnal thunderstorms. Lots of sunshine though for tomorrow, but more on the weekend weather and the chance for more instability coming up.
Thank you, Gina. As measles cases in the province surpass the entire U.S. total, southern Alberta continues to lead the surge. The risk is so widespread, the entire South Health Zone spanning south of Calgary has been under a standing measles exposure advisory since the end of May. The municipal district of Taber has among the lowest measles vaccination rates for youth children in the province. According to provincial data, just shy of 29% of children had received the recommended 2 doses of the vaccine by the age of 2 in 2024. Many people in the town tell CTV News the low uptick is due to a mix of religious beliefs, anti-vaccine sentiments, and misinformation. A local pharmacist says it's not uncommon to spot someone with measles and says it's difficult to change people's perspectives on the effectiveness of the vaccine.
Had people I've seen walk in or it's around town, the child has got a rash, and it's just people are still going about their business. I think everyone knows where the lines have been drawn and realizes that sometimes you can push, but people aren't going to change their minds, so it's only so much you can do or say.
The South Health Zone accounts for 817 of the province's total 1,376 cases that happened since the outbreak began in March. The Ministry of Primary and Preventative Health Services says the government is managing the measles situation in Alberta with public health tools like expanded vaccination clinics and targeted outreach. A new childcare center is under construction. When it opens this fall, it will be the first facility to offer 24-hour care in Lethbridge. The space will have enough room to hold more than 200 children. A recent report shows that the city is facing a shortage of 600 spaces. And as Carson Marsouk reports, the center is hoping to fill part of that gap.
Tasha Overeem knows firsthand the difficulties of finding her son childcare outside of working hours.
I work in healthcare, and trying to find childcare that starts before 7 is so hard. Like, I had to find somebody that would take Brandon at 5:30 in the morning. She was the only daycare that I could get.
And now Carolyn Ajapong is moving her center from her home to a new facility in West Lethbridge. It'll be the first 24-hour center offering part-time, drop-in, emergency, evenings, and overnight hours.
We know that the need for the community is really significant with all of the new grants and funding that the government is providing as well. There's new restrictions in place and things that are making it difficult for parents to find services. Some of the parents that we speak to have been on wait lists for up to 2 years at a time.
It's that demand that has led her to opening a center that offers 210 licensed spaces for children.
We're happy to just build a place that gives an alternative solution. As well as we know that there's lots of parents that are working shift work these days. It's not a typical 9 to 5. And so giving parents that opportunity to be able to drop their kids off earlier and pick them up later without the hassle or the stress is important to us.
The facility will also offer respite care for children with disabilities, the only place south of Calgary with dedicated space. The center comes at a time where demand in the city continues to grow. A report to the City of Lethbridge in 2024 showed that there was a shortage of 620 spaces.
There's a lot of unregulated childcare out there. There's a lot of people who babysit in their homes, which of course then is a lower cost. And so people looking for a lower cost alternative might go to an unregulated childcare space as opposed to a regulated childcare space. She
says affordability grants by the federal government may help narrow that gap. There's also an increase in demand for people wanting to be licensed to enter the industry.
We have high numbers coming into our program in the fall. It's mid-July and we have a wait list, so we're looking at higher than normal numbers.
The new center will have an open play concept for children-led play.
To have a program that offers 210 kids is astonishing.
Carson Marsuk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, construction of the new facility along West Side Drive is expected to be complete by October. There is still space available. To sign up or learn more, you can visit their website. Alberta's Auditor General has uncovered some problems in the management of the province's childcare subsidy program. Auditor General Doug Wiley found the government did not consistently get proof from daycares that they were spending provincial funding on childcare. Wiley said there is a risk that parents are overpaying for childcare and educators are being undercompensated. The Alberta NDP responded saying the UCP government failed to live up to its responsibility to provide affordable childcare. A Lethbridge Polytechnic instructor is making an international impact by helping students and educators navigate academic rating in the age of artificial intelligence. In May, Olga Klimenko led a virtual seminar for the University of Seychelles on challenges in teaching post-secondary academic rating, implicated by the increasing use of AI. She says one of the issues that she's facing as an academic isn't just the rapid integration of AI, it's the need for instructors to adapt quickly.
We teach students not only to give knowledge, but to prepare them for their future life. And this slogan, "Be ready," it's not just a slogan, it's the mindset that we're trying to cultivate. So in the classroom, I cannot ignore the existence of AI tools.
A recent KPMG report shows 59% of students used AI for academic work in 2024 compared to 52% in 2023. Cypress County has declared an agricultural state of emergency. A dry start to the growing season made it difficult for many farmers to recover. The latest crop report shows nearly 18% of crops in southern Alberta are in poor condition. The eastern part of the region that has seen less rain than the west. The disaster will allow farmers to access relief programs such as crop insurance. Recent rains have helped the hard situation, but for most it was too little too late.
Well, we felt it was important to help out mainly our grain and cattle producers here. It's been 8 years of drought, and we had a absolutely terrible start. There was no moisture from February till basically the third week of June.
Cypress County isn't the only municipality in the south declaring an agricultural disaster. Pincher Creek declared one last month. The city of Lethbridge has wrapped up its street sweeping program for another year. The program began at the start of April with crews sweeping 884 kilometers of roadway. The sweepers collected 2,800 tons of debris. The city says street sweeping makes the roads safer and prevents debris from washing into the Oldman River. The collected sand will now be filtered and then reused for future sanding operations. A Calgary archaeologist has published a book about his work with Indigenous rock art and had help from a number of elders. Brad Himwar spent the last 15 years researching rock art in southern Alberta and southeastern British Columbia. Today he's out at the Okotoks Erratic Centre south of Calgary, which is one of more than 3,000 sites that have photographs recorded on them. The images serve as directions on how to get somewhere and how long it will take. But the numerous recordings have a variety of meanings that Indigenous elders have helped Himwar understand.
And in some ways, pictographs are threatened sites. They're really starting to fade from the memory of the people as well as fading on the landscape. And so we thought it was important to record the knowledge of these elders that had incredible cultural knowledge and be able to provide something educational that could be passed on to future generations.
Himwar says many of the images are at least 2,500 years old, and the painters used a mineral called orchre mixed with deer or bear grease. He's hopeful that when people visit the sites today that they're respectful and leave them the way they were found. Gina has the 5-day forecast coming up after this break. Plus, we'll tell you about a new golf tournament for cardiac care in the city.
Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Seeing a little bit of clearing here through our Skywatch weather camera, west-facing shot, but you can see more of those puffy clouds on the horizon there. And the west is where a lot of our weather is coming from. Typically, that's the case, but especially when it comes to this instability, that is the direction where a lot of our active weather is coming from. It also cooled things down. The system that passed through today didn't impact Lethbridge or the extreme south too much, with the exception of the southeast corner there. But you can see it really drove down the temperature. So 16 for our high today. There is a slight chance we might add a couple more degrees throughout the next few hours here, but the chance is pretty slim right now. Big difference tomorrow, though. We're going to boost back up 10 degrees warmer. 26-degree high for Friday, and that is right where we should be for this time in July. That is a seasonal high for you. Madison, Hat, and Brooks are going to join us with that temperature as well, but it's a lot of up and down, so don't expect that to last for long. We're going to see a lot of fluctuation over the next couple of days, and you can see on our satellite radar here, we have that west to east instability passing through, and a bit of a counterclockwise rotation as well. That right there is your indicator of a low pressure system sweeping through. So we see a lot of lightning associated with the system. We're at the tail end of that first round of instability. We've got another low pressure system on its way from BC. It's in central BC right now. Can't really see it on the models, but it will develop as we go through the hour-by-hour cast here. Really nice for tomorrow. Again, the current system pushes out. We get some clearing in the morning and afternoon there. A little bit more cloud in the afternoon, and then again, that potential for some thunderstorms more to the north of us, but I wouldn't rule out Lethbridge seeing the potential for some isolated thunderstorms Friday evening, and then heading into Saturday morning there. Obviously, you could see some intense cells passing through to the north, but there could be a little bit of rain and embedded thunderstorms as we get into Saturday afternoon. Will influence temperatures as well, probably not as bad as what we're seeing today. And then precipitation associated with just the wet weather that we're experiencing over the weekend here looks to be pretty trace amounts so far, but I do find this model can be quite conservative with its values. So I'd anticipate maybe up to 5 millimeters for the Lethbridge and surrounding areas, but the bulk of this system will impact areas in the central part of Alberta, more in that Edmonton area. So if you have plans to go that way this weekend, it's going to be a wet one. We have instability tonight for the East Kootenay area, up to 28 tomorrow. Still some active weather possible, but a significant warm up for them. In the Crow's Nest Pass, pretty similar story with that active weather chance tonight, down to 9, up to 23 tomorrow. And because you're closer to the mountains there, you might see a little bit more of that rain and instability. Medicine Hat, little iffy tonight, but nice and sunny for Friday there with a high of 26. And here's a look at the weekend for you. Still chance of some sun, but chances of rain as well. And we'll see more of that wet weather push in, Jackie, as we get into next week.
Thank you, Gina. Well, the Chinook Regional Hospital Foundation has announced a new golf tournament. The foundation will debut its Hearts and Health Classic August 26, 2026 at Paradise Canyon. The inaugural tournament will benefit the Bringing Hearts Home campaign to improve access to life-saving cardiac care throughout southern Alberta. The Classic follows the conclusion of the Val Mattiota Italian Open last year, which raised nearly $2 million in its 30-year history. The foundation says money raised will go right back to helping those in the community.
With the support of volunteers and community members and donors and sponsors, and just the effort that it takes to deliver a great day is so meaningful, because every dollar contributed helps us care for every generation by addressing urgent needs across all age groups.
The foundation is currently recruiting volunteer committee members to help shape the new event. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, a Canadian player is now the highest paid athlete in women's soccer. Sports is next. Welcome back. Lethbridge Bulls are back in action tonight after having yesterday off. It was a tough night, though, for the Medicine Hat Mavericks as they lost 11-2 to the Moose Jaw Miller Express. Brooks Bombers, however, kept it close but fell 12-11 in extras to the Regina Red Sox last night. Tonight, the Lethbridge Bulls face a tough test, welcoming the league-best Saskatoon Berries to Spitz Stadium. Meanwhile, the Mavs will be looking for revenge on the Miller Express. Both of those games start at 7:05. Lethbridge Hurricanes will be without one of their key forwards in September. Leo Brillard has signed a one-year contract with the EHCBL in Switzerland. The 20-year-old forward appeared in 53 games with the Hurricanes last season, putting up 26 goals, 20 assists. Brillard wore the BL jersey during his junior years before he was claimed off waivers by the Canes in 2022. As for the Hurricanes, they open their preseason on September the 2nd. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has another major trophy to add to his case.
And the SB goes to SGA, baby!
The Toronto-born and Oklahoma City Thunder point guard brought home the ESPY for Best Male Athlete last night. Gilgeous-Alexander led the Thunder to their first NBA championship and the league's best record. He also swept most major individual NBA awards. The point guard thanked his wife, parents, brother, and others, saying, "It's a dream come true, and for dreams to come true, it takes a village." Canadian soccer star Olivia Smith is officially the most expensive player in the history of her sport after completing a transfer to London-based club Arsenal.
Nice turn by Olivia Smith. She's still got it. Smith onto her left foot. Oh, it's a beauty!
Smith, from the Greater Toronto area, set a new benchmark with a reported £1 million transfer from Liverpool. That's over 1.8 million Canadian dollars. The 20-year-old agreed to a 4-year deal with the defending European champions. Smith is the youngest woman ever to appear for Canada at just 15 years old back in 2019. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, one of the biggest independent vintage tractor auctions Alberta has ever seen is about to get underway. We'll show you that when we come back. An acreage north of Calgary has close to 100 vintage tractors lined up and ready to be auctioned off this weekend. The Massey Harris and Massey Ferguson tractors belong to Don Ellingson. He started collecting them in 1990. He and his wife Beth enjoy going to antique tractor pull events all over Western Canada and the U.S., where they discovered many tractors for sale. Don's restored some of them, but others are starting to show their age. At one time, Ellingson had 107 tractors. Now he's down to 91.
I've always enjoyed, ever since I was a little kid, anything that runs, anything with wheels. I was always interested in trying to figure out how it worked. And I was very shy when I was very young, but I was studying everything very closely to figure out how it worked.
Ellingson says it's time to part with his collection because his health is failing. The tractors are up for viewing now, and the online auction is expected to be over Saturday evening. Well, thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.